Hey, thank you very much, Gary. Appreciate it. It is 9:35 on this Thursday morning, the 14th day of December. What did you just say? Did I miss something? Oh, great. Okay. Listen, I normally don't do big interviews at this late in the show, but this is an issue we've been tracking for a long time, and I think something bad is about to happen at Arlington Cemetery. You know, this reconciliation monument. Some of you think that I'm obsessed with the monuments. And it's not an obsession with monuments. It's an obsession with Marxists destroying things and getting their way. Because there's a march happening here. And I don't know what it's going to take for you to realize what is occurring. If you haven't read history, then it would be easy for you to kind of believe the rhetoric of, oh, the Confederacy is very divisive in the history of the Civil War. It upsets minorities. The black community doesn't care for it. So we really need to be sensitive about this. That's not what's happening, everybody. You have Marxists who are attempting to erase every remnant of American history. Is not just about the Civil War. Do you hear the rhetoric now about colonialists? Well, you think they're talking about people from 200 or 300, 400 years ago. They're talking about you. This is not this is a contemporary purge that is starting with inanimate objects. But I have this awful feeling it's moving, as it has throughout the history of humankind, especially in the last century when you're up against the communists, to real people. You better be paying attention to it. So this statue in Arlington Cemetery, it's a huge memorial. The twisted irony that it was done by a Jewish sculptor is remarkable, who went to VMI, who was a Confederate soldier. The whole thing was designed to try to reconcile the Union with the southern states that were part of the Confederacy. There were Union leaders who supported this. The President of the United States, who fought for the Union, advocated for this. And now, suddenly, it must be removed from a cemetery where we were told statues would be left alone. Remember that? We were lied to. And I don't know. I'm old-fashioned. I don't think you should disrupt people's final resting places. I just don't think you should do that. Lunel Siegel, she's worked like crazy for over a year to try to stop this from happening. Lunel, it sounds like we're coming down to the last minute where are the bad guys going to win here? They're going to destroy this thing? What do you think?
A coin toss. But you're right. Nothing says hate and division more than destroying a memorial to peace and reconciliation.
Right.
And every person who believes that graves shouldn't be touched, my mother said, don't touch graves, leave those alone. Imagine being the family of Moses Ezekiel, being out of the country, coming back and hearing on social media that the memorial and gravesite that you've been visited since you were a child is being destroyed by the United States Army at our nation's most hallowed burial ground.
When you express that, is there an emotional appreciation for what you're saying, or has everyone that you've encountered just said, "Well, to hell with that. We're doing what we're going to do, and we don't care what you think"?
Well, somebody needs to ask Miares and Youngkin, because we're disappointed that the people are having to stand up against this outrageous, sacrilegious, irreverent scheme without the help of the Virginia leaders who have the power to do this.
Well, you remember I asked the governor, when the governor was on, and I think you probably heard that, I asked him about this, and he wasn't for the move, but it sounds like behind the scenes his people tried to broker a deal. I don't want to say something that's wrong, tried to broker a deal where the monument, if it was going to be moved, would go to property owned by VMI, which is weird because VMI has acted so badly over the last several years. So Have you had conversations with anybody in the governor's office or the attorney general's office about the position? Right now, can we stop this? What would you look for them to do?
We would like them to not sign the agreement with the Army. They have a say, and if they just don't sign the agreement with the Army, they have the power. The cards are in Virginia's hands.
They could veto it by not signing the agreement?
They could not sign the agreement. Just it's not acceptable, just not sign it. That's
and then what would happen?
Preservation laws. Well, we have a champion in the United States Congress who's gotten 43 other members of Congress to demand that this be put on hold until the spending is decided in the in Congress and in the Senate. And we just need more time. Now, our lawyers still have some moves that we're trying to work.
Well, you were in court, and I was upset because I woke up and saw a text that said, we just got ruled against in court. I was like, what happened? What happened? So what happened?
I'll tell you what happened.
Okay.
A week ago, Laura Ingraham outed the judge on the case as being one of the most radical in the district court.
Oh.
So we've got to get to the appellate court, and our lawyers have some more moves to work on, and the memorial is still in place.
Yeah.
But, the bottom line is, again, the citizens are going this alone, and unfortunately, we're so disappointed that the state of Virginia isn't manning up. And I know it's a tough time of year, but you have some really loyal listeners, and we have a special treat for them. We have set up a website on defendarlington.org where people can make a donation in your honor. And we'd like to see how much your listeners can help you with this. We know that this is important. We all know it's important. We know this. We wouldn't want to have this to our family's grave.
Yes.
And so we're just asking people, we know this is a tough time of year. We're asking everybody that listens to your show to just help with visiting defendarlington.org and making a donation in your honor. And we are praying for a major donor, somebody who's looking around for a tax donation and will raise their hand and say, I want to help. I don't want that to happen to my family's grave.
Yeah.
We have to draw a line in the sand. This is a travesty. This is wrong. And they can reach us at defendarlington.org, and we're just praying for a miracle.
I'm hoping somebody can stop this from happening, and I do hope that the officials in the state government will say this is one of those fights. Even if we want to be popular, this is one of those fights where we got to stand up to stop the destruction, especially in Arlington Cemetery, for goodness sakes. Lunell, I really appreciate it.
Yeah, you remember we did a poll, and that poll showed that Virginians want their history saved.
That's
and
right. Yeah.
Another poll just came out in another state. Same thing. The overwhelming majority of people, it's a mandate. They want government officials to save and protect and preserve their history.
Yeah. Defendarlington.org. Lunell Siegel is leading that charge. We're going to track this. I'm hoping we're not about to have something bad happen on Monday, but I know you're fighting it. Defendarlington.org. Thank you. Oh, man, 9:44. We'll come back with more in a moment on News Radio WRVA.